and two, I can actually fucking say congrats on getting that Stryker name. I know you were working hard
Thank
for
you,
that shit
man.
out here.
Thank you.
Oh my god. I was even telling Sherwin like the last time I was in Cali, I was like, yo, dog, like we are at the end of our first era of like Beastville heads. Like everyone done, like, because I just knew, like, especially for like you and homie, it was just like a matter of time, it's whenever big homie says. Um,
Yeah.
but
I
you
think
guys
that's
got
what
that
made
shit.
me yeah, that's what made me so comfortable with like waiting because I was just like, dang, like I'm doing all the work, like it's fine.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I don't think I think even for you guys to have, because people ask me about it a lot, and it's like it's not just something you openly try out for, bro. Like you can't just walk up to me and be like, "Hey, bro, how do I get in Beastville?" It's like, dog, it don't work. It just don't work like that. Like you get to know Sherwin, or somebody in the fam, and like a lot of people that got through, to me, we're all homies. Everyone was fam. Like these are all homies. Like we know each other, or we know you through somebody, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and so it's cool to see fam be fam and doing fam things. But congrats, though. I definitely wanted to make sure I said that. Congrats, because I know
Thank
you're
you.
working
That
hard.
thank you. That means a lot. I
Hell
remember
yeah.
the day I got it. I got in the car, I got the message, and I just started screaming.
Ah. What was the first thing you went and did? Like, did you like start sending the screenshots, or were you with somebody? What was that like?
Well, I got in the car to pick somebody up to go to a session, and I had a battle already set that day. So I was like, fuck. Like, I was just like freaking out. I went to go pick him up. We looked at each other. We just started screaming.
Ah.
Got to the freaking session. Then we all started screaming there. And then I battled with like the name that same day.
Yeah, how'd that feel?
That was crazy. It was it was wild. I like 3-0'd the kid, and I was like, yeah, like, and then everybody was just screaming Stryker. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I first got the monster name and just hearing it, it was like, yeah, motherfucker. Like, yeah, that feels good. It just felt good. It felt like it fit. Um,
Definitely feels good. I also feel this sense of like I have to push harder. Like
yeah.
I've been pushing hard, but now that I have the name, it's like dang, like now I really have to, cause like something that Girl Striker told me, she was like, yeah, like you're the first ever lady striker. I was like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
like that was like when she said that, I was like, fuck, like I literally have this whole like I could make this name legendary. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And a cool thing too, like even with just like your ties with 1K and everything that you're doing, because you're in Connecticut, right?
mhm.
Like everything up there, like really, Beast Camp, like official members, it's really only been 1K up there. And so now you're up there too. So it's like you got a whole like region you get to put on your back. Is that exciting, or are you more nerve wracked about that?
I'm excited. I'm actually like working towards creating something for like the women out here cuz like throughout me trying to get into camp and stuff, I've had a lot of different females come up to me and ask me like, are you doing classes? Are you doing like sessions, like women sessions? And I was like, not at the moment. I wasn't really thinking about that, but then I started, kind of realizing that like in terms of like the females out here, I'm the one really putting on for Crump,
Mm-hmm.
and like I could really build on that. And so like currently I'm trying to like get an all women session going and trying to like because a lot of them just aren't comfortable with like the male dominance of like the sessions out here, which is like fine. I just kind of want to be the first to be like, it's okay, y'all can come out here and y'all can get bucked. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually excited, and I have like some plans for that.
That's dope. And just kind of create that space for women to come learn some Crump, vibe out, and kind of do their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said you've been crumping for about 4 years now, right?
Yep.
What got you started?
Well, I started off dancing with like animation and tutting. Then I met this guy, It's a crumper out here named Reload. He was my first big homie, and
Mm.
I met him. And then the day I met him, we battled. I was like, I don't even know this guy, but man, he wants to battle me, so let's just do it. And he used like crump. I didn't know what crump was. And then he was like, man, like you have like this energy in you, like even though you're just animating, even though you're just tutting, like the way you were battling me, like you were really battling me, like I felt that pressure, and I feel like you would be good for like crump. Like have you ever wanted to learn? And I said I didn't know about this style before, so
Mhm.
like no, but this is cool. And then I started learning from him, and then I made a mistake. I battled two people the same day and I used crump, but I wasn't really like training in it, so I lost both those
Ooh.
battles. I got really like um discouraged. So I was like, nah, I don't want this anymore. Da da da. So then I like fell off, and then we were having a random session at my house, and he came and he was like, "Do you remember like the stuff that I taught you?" Because he taught me like the basics and stuff. I say, "Yeah, but I haven't been working on it." He was like, "Wait, why don't you just do a round? Like, just do one, like just to see like what would happen." And I just got off, and he was like, "Bro, like you need to come back." And I was like, all right, let me just give this one more shot." It's just hard because like the first year of me crumping, I didn't feel that get off feeling. So it was
Mhm.
like when I would jab, it was just I wouldn't really feel it. Or like
Mm.
when I would chest pop, it would just be that. So like that was my whole first year. But then once I got over that and I started actually like triggering the get off, then it
Mhm.
just became like addictive. Like I crump every day. So
Yeah. And are you taking classes right now? Like, are you going out to studios and learning?
um not out here. I mean, I like take bits and pieces of like advice that people give me. Like I session with Sleek a lot,
Mhm.
and like sometimes we'll be sessioning and then we'll kind of like talk about like what we're working on, and if like he could give me advice, then he gives me some. The classes that I'm mostly taking are the ones I set up with Sherwin, to be honest. Then I just
We
work on that for like a whole week.
thebeastcamp.com. The
Go check that out.
beastcamp.com. Go check that out, everybody. Uh, yeah, no, I miss like uh I miss taking classes. I thought those were always like there was a there was a weird feeling that I had when I first got into crump because I was coming from like mainly like hip hop, like choreo and like like the WAD circuits and stuff, and um
Mm,
then when I just hit sessions, like I knew how to freestyle, but then trying to pick up a style like that and then only really learning while at the session, it was weird and it was a really like challenging experience. But then once Sherwin started doing classes and like at the Cypher spot, I was there all the fucking time. Um, and that felt good. That was like where I felt like I grew the most. It really got me like it. That's what kind of like really got me going. I found a place where I could learn and be comfortable, and that shit like helped me take off. Um, what's so you're talking about doing a session for girls, and getting some kind of cooking out there. What are some other goals that you got for Crump coming up for you? Like, because you're even saying that you feel this pressure, right, with having like this name. So, what are some goals that you're setting out for yourself to kind of put that pressure on yourself?
I definitely want to travel more and just
Mm,
battle more, not only for myself but to really like, 'cause I just feel like I'm the example, and I have to set the example for all the rest of the girls out here, because a lot of them just aren't comfortable, or like they don't put themselves they don't have the courage to like put themselves out there. Not that they don't have the courage, but they just like something's stopping them. I don't know what it is.
mm,
And I don't know if like I have to be the person to like do it first to show them like, yeah, you could do it too. You know what I mean?
mm,
And so I kind of want to be that example for them. And yeah. So I also put on for camp as well, cuz I just need to travel. Like going out to Cali when I did, like the energy out there is crazy. It's different, and I just want to feel how different the energy is wherever I travel, cuz I know it's different everywhere.
mm.
Um I'm working on like just bringing the crumb community up out here, because like the people that are OGs out here tell me all the time that before, like around 2012 or 13, it was really popping in CT. But right now, like the crumb community here is pretty like dead. And
Mm,
like to go to like a session, we got to go to mass where like proof is at and stuff,
mm,
which is fine. But like we're just missing it out here. So I'm always with my boy Sleek and this kid Matrix. They're
mm,
out here, and it's just us three, just like hosting sessions and like CT, and just trying to bring everybody together in like a healthy session type thing, so that we people don't have to drive, feel the need to drive to mass, because sometimes these sessions are late at night. You don't want to like drive home, an hour and a half, whatever the case may be. So like we're just trying to just bring the Crumb community up again from where it
mm,
was.
mm. Yeah, that was one of my things for Oxnard was, our closest session was an hour in one direction. And,
Mm-hmm.
that was, 818s. And like, dude, it's so funny when I talk with Sherwin about like the crackhead days of the 818. It was like the session is starting at midnight. Like this session is started at 1. Like it was fucking real. And we would be there until 3, 4 in the morning sometimes, and then you have an hour drive home. And dude, that's bad. Like that's not, I know dancer life, but no way. That is bad for your fucking health, man. And like I feel bad for like Childish. Shout out Childish, my guy. Um, Childish fucking be driving from like the IE to Oxnard, or he'll drive from the IE to LA or to Oceanside or to all these places, and he just always looks broke off. Like every time I'm like, damn, bro, that you on the road, you out here doing it, like you be looking broke the fuck off, but he out here getting
Damn.
off. But yeah, I know that struggle. I know that struggle, and you know and it's cool too, like that was one thing, too. I wanted to make sure I asked, um because I feel like me, you, there's like a couple of us in the camp right now, Slade, who are kind of like new still to Crump. Like Rogue has been around.
Mm-hmm.
Rogue's been around for a minute, 1K been around for a minute, Tyrell around for a minute, like these. But me and you, I feel like, and like me, you, Ghost, Atrocity, like we're kind of like the newer heads. What do you feel like is a big difference now between us now and then those back then when it comes to like starting sessions? Because like in Connecticut, you were saying like it used to be popping, but then now it's gone. Like, what do you think happened? Like, what's the difference in why it's not like still thriving out there?
I hate to say this, but I feel like it is a factor. I feel like there's a lack of leadership.
Mm,
Um, like when new people come around, because like when you're new, like you there's this sense of like you want to be guided,
mm-hmm,
and when you don't have that guidance, you're just kind of like wandering, kind of guessing, kind of like maybe I'll do this because this feels right. I don't know if it's right, but this feels right. So I think there's definitely like a lack of leadership in terms of like who came before us. Um, and that's not to say that like it's bad, because some people fall off for like personal reasons. So like that's fine too.
mm-hmm,
But I think there's like a lack of guidance. Um, and I also think that certain people, like new people, are like super arrogant, and they don't really want to listen. They don't want to be led. And so I've heard some of the leaders kind of say like I've tried and people don't listen, so I just stopped. I
mm,
also think that's an issue too. Um, I don't know. It varies. It varies. It definitely depends on the situation. But I think for us, like since mass is so like big in terms of like, you know, it has proof. Um, Spartan's up there a few times. Was up there a few times. Matrix, like they just all go up there, so they just attract everybody.
Mm,
And then we're just the rest of us are just left over here. Like, okay, I'm not going over there. I'm just gonna session at these all style sessions and catch a vibe. You know.
hmm. Yeah, I feel like at least for Oxnard, there was just like a lack of cooperation, you know, and like participation just in general. Like rest in peace ER, like when he came back to Crump, he threw a workshop in Oxnard and he was like, "Yo, this is the first one I've done since retirement." And I was like, "Oh shit." Like, "Oh, okay, cool." And so
Wow.
I kind of started like promoting it that way too, and no one from the LA scene showed up, and I was really disappointed. I was really disappointed, but there was like a lot of people from Santa Barbara, which was cool, and there was a cool chunk of people from Oxnard that showed up, and that was cool. Like I was happy about that. Um, but yeah, like I feel like the era right before, because I started crumping like around like 5 years ago. Yeah, like 5, 6 years ago. Um, and I do feel like the era right before us was so lit. Like because I hear stories, you know, it was like it was so lit.
Yeah.
Like y'all were so just doing the fucking thing. Like I don't know, like the thing, whatever it was, that thing. What's been one of your what's been one of your favorite moments in Crump? Matter of fact, like what's like top three? Like what would be your like top three moments that you've had in Crumping?
Uh, One of them would definitely be watching 1K battle in person, cause
A
he came to my house like around the first year that I crumped. He was like coming back from like this trip, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm passing through CT. Like, can we session?" And like ever since, he's been like one of my biggest inspirations. Shout out to 1K.
shout out Miguel.
Yeah. But then when I went to Buffalo like a couple months ago to like see him versus Lady C4 in person, like that was insane. Like, cause I study his battle footage, but just seeing that in person, like it was just insane. So that would definitely be one of them. Um, Seeing Yaya versus Beast as well, like both my mentors battling in person. I
Mm-hmm.
know that that battle isn't out yet. I think the camera died like mid battle, but that was crazy too. Like just being there and seeing like both their energy just clash. It was like dang, like I was so inspired. So that has to be my second. And dang, my third. I think it would probably be. I want to think before I say this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would. It would probably be Jungle's workshop. I
Ooh,
took Jungle's workshop in Buffalo, and honestly, like out of all the workshops I've taken, and I'm talking about in person workshops, like he was probably my favorite one to take. I like the way he teaches.
nice.
Yeah.
What was so special about it?
Cause he was just so down to earth. Like he wasn't like, man, like he wasn't like there are certain people in Crump that when they teach, like they just put you on the spot and they're like, no, not like that. Like, you got to do it like this, and they just kind of like embarrass you. But he was just he kind of welcomed everything, and like it was more of like a creative workshop. And so like whatever you created, he would like the hype was real. Like even the session afterwards, like the hype was real. Baby Solo was there, his hype was real. And just seeing everybody come together and like their creativities, different perspectives on like how they created a combo, because that's what the class was for. It was like, how do you create a combo from material, from a
Mm,
concept? So it was just that. Um and just his whole down to earth thing. Like he like mentioned a battle that he did in Ohio and just verbally told us his like his mentality throughout a whole round. And it was crazy. He was like, "Yeah, so like I took off my hat, I pretended it was chicken, and then I was stirring it, and then like I seasoned it." And I was like, But like he's doing the round in front of me as he's like explaining it. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what the hell? So then I went back and watched the battle, and I was like, nah, bro, this is crazy.
Yeah, there's definitely how do I want to say this? There's definitely a like a clear indication, I feel like, when you step into a classroom and it's like this teacher is either like kind of cocky or they don't quite know what they're doing. You know, it might be like the fifth or sixth time they've taught, so they're kind of getting the ropes of how a classroom, you know, kind of thing goes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and there's been surprisingly a lot that I've experienced in Crump, where the dudes where I was just like taking this class and I'm like, whoa, like this isn't making sense, or like you, or they're just like going on these long tangents, and it's like, okay, cool, but like, can you show us something? Well, like, are like, I don't know. They were just really odd. They're really, really odd classes. Surprisingly, so you know what? So like really, really surprisingly was I learned from Garrett one time, and it was a really good class. And I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa, dude, you know how to teach a fucking class, fam. Like, wow. Like, okay, cool, cool. Like, I can't even remember if he was Jay Stryker then. He might have been Kid Stryker then. I'm not sure.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time ago. Dread teaches really well too in a classroom setting. Yaya teaches really well. Shout out fucking Yaya. Yaya teaches well. Damn. Because matter of fact, she's been teaching in Oxnard for a long time. Like I am me days type shit.
Wow.
Yeah, she's been around the 805 for a minute. Shout out Yaya, man. Um, dude, and that's cool too, because like I don't know, I would have expected you to be like, oh, when I like did this super crazy kill off move, or oh, when I did this, but you like talked about all these witnessing these battles and all these different moments, or a class like as your favorite moments. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's different. That's a different type of answer. I like that. It shows that you really taking the moments that you're a part of, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, and how old are you, Laz?
I'm gonna be 25 next month.
Is that rude to ask? Sorry, I didn't mean that.
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Sorry. 25 next month. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. You got any plans? You got anything planned out?
Hopefully, birthday rounds. I
Hey.
miss those.
Hey. Yeah, I haven't done that in a minute. Oh my God. Uh, I feel like I've been on the road for all of my fucking birthdays.
Dang, bro.
Where's been one of the, so you said that you want to travel more, but what's been one of the favorite places that you have traveled to?
Cali.
Valley?
Cali, most like, yeah. I went to Buffalo. I went to Florida. I haven't gone to Texas. I really want to go to Texas. I hear the scene out there is crazy,
Yes, it
and
is.
like Minnesota as well.
Yes, it is.
But so far, like Cali, most
No.
definitely.
I be trying to tell people, man, we eye out there. We eye. If you find the right people, we eye. No, but Texas has been cool. Shout out Texas movement. Austin kind of has like a new movement that they're pushing. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, San Antonio and Dallas is San Antonio and Dallas. They've been around, but no, but they're good vibes. Like they're always good vibes whenever I do pull up. Um, Florida was cool too. Shout out Rogue and the MIA. Miami's cool. Miami's fun. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Nothing. I haven't been able to dance in North Carolina yet, and I do want to go up to Connecticut and see you guys in like New York and shit. Go see everybody up there.
That'd be lit, bro. Gather the
So
gang up, just
yeah,
have a
you
cool session.
get the squad. Let's go. Uh, yeah, because pretty much I'm just like living on the road now. So whenever I do take my rotations, I can kind of just go anywhere. And so I might go up there. I'd have like a week to like hang out and shit. See you guys. When do you guys usually session? Like weekends or weekdays?
Weekends usually.
Okay. Let's go. Check it out. I did want to ask. right? And I guess this is going to be kind of more like the meat and potatoes. But there's been so recently, I guess there's been a lot of talk about crump and its essence. And I think that's a cool topic because I think that's a funny word. I think it's a funny word. Okay. So, and y'all know me. I mean, anyone who knows camp knows. But if people don't know by now, I like to ask fucking questions and see people's perspectives, you know? So when you hear that word applied to crump, like what comes to mind? What do you think of? Because to me, it's a funny word when you're just throwing it out there that is what somebody is lacking, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me wonder, like, so what do you mean when you say that word? Like, because I don't think I'm thinking of the same thing when other people say it. So to you, to roulette, what does that word mean to you?
I think I think it's I think it's subjective. Yes. I think it's subjective. It's kind of like art. It's like looking at an art piece and saying like this has no essence, but then somebody else is like, "Nah, bro. I'm feeling this painting. Like if you don't, that's fine, but like it's subjective. Like I really, you know what I mean? I feel like it's wrong to kind of look at somebody and be like, "You lack that." Because how could you tell what someone is feeling or
Mm-hmm.
not feeling
Mm-hmm.
just visually? Like you can't, because it's all subjective. People feel things differently because we're all individuals. So um I just think like essence, the definition of essence physically is different between everybody, between like, because we're all different individuals. So what's essence to you might not be what essence is to me, and how you feel it might not be how I feel it. So
Mm.
just kind of saying that you lack it, how do you know that? How do
Mm.
you know that? I just don't. I don't really like that word either. I don't like it. It's
I
just,
think
it
it's I
doesn't make
think it's a
sense.
it's just so vague, and it's when we're talking about dancing, it's like, okay, that's one thing I do like about battles because I do get to look at it very subjectively, where I can kind of remove preference and be like, well, though I like how he dances more, he's not doing X, Y, and Z like this guy over here is, and I might not like how he dances exactly, but you kind of remove, well, you're supposed to, at least you're supposed to remove the bias and kind of stick to what you're watching.
Hmm.
And so when I hear people say like, yeah, but he just didn't have the essence, it's like, but what does that mean? Like, we're judging a battle, like we're judging artwork right now. You can't
It
take
gives
something.
me it gives me the same feeling of when people are like, "Yeah, I think this person won because the other person, I just wasn't feeling them." Like, what?
What? That's rooted
What?
in no fact. Like, there's no facts there.
It
Uh,
doesn't make sense.
and I do like how you say, like, what might be tight to me, it might not be tight to somebody else. And so, like, I've seen people go in certain rooms, or even myself, like, I can speak from personal experiences. Like, you go to a session and you might not quite be feeling it. There's just something in the air. There's something about the music. Maybe your feet just feel weird in your shoes, whatever. But then you go to the session the next day and you're just lit. Like, you're on. It feels good. What you're doing's good. It feels good, looks good. You're good. It's great. So what's the difference between point A and point B? Is it because you're more tapped in with people right there, or you're more tapped in with yourself? Like, so to say my lack of a performance in one place is solely based off of some kind of feeling, like, no, bro, because the feeling changes from room to room. It changes from session to session, from this group over here. Sessioning with Cali people is different than sessioning with Texas people, and so on and so forth. So I don't know. I think it's a simple answer for a complex thing, you know.
Hmm.
Like, if you were gonna define it, then how would you define it? somebody's essence or the essence of crump?
Um, just like there is this energy of like crump that um we are always trying to tap into every time we dance, because from the first moment we feel it, we're like, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
It's an energy, I'll say that, but I don't really think it's like an essence. The energy changes, and there's so many factors that, you know, it depends on in terms of changes. Like it could be like what's on your mental, it could be your environment, it could be the people around you. Like the energy changes, and so your crump changes as well. um but it's sort of just something that you learn to, you got to put yourself in a vulnerable position to be able to showcase that. That's why I say crump is not for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
because it really puts you in a vulnerable position. For me personally, I've experienced a lot of self discovery through crump that I'm so grateful for. Um, but once you're able to like sit there and be like, this is me in like the purest form, in the rawest form,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's where like that comes from. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that realness, that rawness, that this is me like 100%. Not hiding behind the mask, not hiding behind my techniques. Like this is me. Like once you're able to do that, then you really find that energy and you find essence. I don't like the word essence, but like I guess that's how I would define it. It's like it's an energy that you just feel when you uh convey 100% of yourself.
Mm-hmm. There is definitely like an energy, a certain there's some kind of weird vibration going on at sessions. You can feel it, like especially when the session's really jumping. You can feel it. You feel it in the air. You kind of just see it in people's posture that are like standing around the circle, like the way they're just kind of like leaning in, like
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
dog, just like all up in somebody's grill. Like, dude, chill out, fam. Uh, so I don't want people to get me wrong. That I understand. There is an energy of crump. There is some kind of thing that's happening. I even remember watching who it might have been Tight Eyes, but it was at a cipher spot. Yeah, it was Tight Eyes. He looks at concrete and he goes, "Yo, what's happening?" And it was like a session was just going off. And I remember Kevin had just walked in the room and he turns and tells him that. And I was like, "Yo, it is." I was like, "Matter of fact, crump is happening right now." Like there's I don't know, but to I mean, people want to tie it to like a spiritual sense, right? Or God. And, I'll just go ahead and say that word, God. And though I am a God believing man, right, I don't think like this is kind of where I get like people who like bad news advocates for people who don't quite follow religion or might not even believe in God. So it's like, how can this thing be happening even if that might not be real to them? So like, how can we say that it's, you know, if essences of that, like, does that make sense? Like that
Mhm.
question, like, how do you even tie those things together? So like how do you look at it? I guess from that sense, do you think it's more of like a spiritual thing, or do you think it's just something happening because we're all there, kind of doing the same thing, all there for the same reason, type of thing?
I think I won't say it's not spiritual, but everybody defines spiritual differently. Like they don't, some people don't tie spirituality with God. Sometimes they have an understanding that there is a spirit inside them, but they don't believe in God. I believe in God, but I definitely think it comes from me and my vessel and my spirit
Ooh, yeah.
alone. Um and whether I mentally want to connect it to God, that is a choice that's totally up to me, but I feel like the energy and just me like letting it out solely comes from me. It's my decision to do that.
Mm,
And so for people that don't believe in God, I feel like that's why Crump like speaks to them in the same way because it comes from their spirit. Even though they're not spiritual, like they're living beings, like they have a spirit inside them, they have a mental inside them, so they're making this choice to choose Crump and just uh, share their voice through this art of ours, you know.
mm-hmm. Mm,
I think it's definitely a choice that you make to connect it to God, and you could say yes or no, you know. But I
mm-hmm.
do agree with bad news as well. Like Crump is for everybody, regardless of your choice.
Yeah. Hey, and you know, and I said this recently, like Crump is for everybody, but everybody's not for Crump. And there is a certain part of the culture that I think kind of dances around these type of conversations. And we saw it, you know, we saw it clear as day, right? They kind of dance around these conversations, but I think these are good conversations to have because, yeah, something coming out, it's a good conversation to have because if there's something coming out of my brain that I'm sharing with you and you're doing the same thing and sharing it with me, I think that there's a Tinder, like, there's a very unique connection there. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
the people you session with every week or every 2 weeks, whatever. There's a certain connection that you guys have there, and that needs to be studied, right? For this type of conversation, that type of connection needs to be studied, because it's unique. Yes, because we're creating something and dancing to something that somebody created that we might know. Like Sleek, dancing to Sleek's music and then seeing him in person is so nuts. Like Concrete too. Like seeing these people in person, it's so wild. It's like, bro, I there's something your music does to me that I lose my mind. Like I lose.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole connection, like that whole little thing that's happening, is definitely something to be studied. Um, but then like, yeah, if you want to put it up to like God and stuff too, I don't see a problem in it, right? But my only problem is when we do something as a collective, I just want to always make sure no one feels left out, you know what I mean? Or they have to feel like they have to hide a piece of who they are because it might not be a part of the status quo, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this type of conversation about these things, right, kind of keeps people like the way that people dance around it makes people want to like stay quiet truly about their opinions or the way they might feel about something or what they might believe in. But
Yeah,
fuck
and
that.
that makes it less raw if you really think about it. You know what I mean? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not as honest. It's not as true. I feel like the Buckus people are the most honest in and out of the dance floor. So if you have
Mm-hmm.
to hide a piece of yourself, it's like nah, bro. Like you're just missing the entire point.
Mm-hmm. Um, I had somebody ask me why, like, because well, whenever I'm with the camp in Cali, I'm always goofy as fuck and I'm always doing stupid shit. But I remember I had somebody ask me like, is that just something you do, or is that like for the camera? It's like, oh no, that's me. Like that's me 100%. Because if I can't be me, then I'm not going to be here. Like I can't be here. I can't be in this space. Like if I can't be me 100% through and through, I can't be in this space because I just don't know any other way. I don't know any other way to do it. You know what I mean? And that's tight. I like how you said that it's not true to hide a part of yourself. It's not true. That's a profound way to say that. Mm. So, when if you were going to explain, if you were going to explain the feeling to somebody, right? Like somebody knew that you're trying to get to join your sessions, that feeling, because we acknowledge that there's a feeling. How would you explain it to them, or what would you tell them about it?
It's definitely for me the equivalent of a flow state.
Mm.
So once I once I get in that flow state, everything becomes like second nature. And that's why I tell everybody who starts crump, when it comes to your basics, like just train your basics as much as you can, because once you get to that flow state, you're not thinking about, is this jab good? You just, is this jab correct? You just do it. Is this chest pop good? You just do it. Like, because it's so second nature. And I feel like that's the quickest way to kind of reach that, is like, because that's what I did like the first year that I was crumping. Like, I would wake up extra early, like before school, and I would just practice my jabs, practice my chest pops over and over and over. I would just, and it was an everyday thing. And then, like, once I got comfortable with actually dancing to the music, not really thinking as much, then it just, the flow state started coming more and more, and I was like, dang, like I'm not even thinking about this. Like, this just feels good. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just this flow state of like, once you reach that, you don't want to leave. Once you're in it, you're just like, dang, like I know what I'm doing. And you
Mm-hmm.
could like manipulate it, like as you obtain more knowledge, like you can manipulate it and kind of like change it in certain ways on how you want your crump to look. But it's definitely like a flow state, and when you're in it. Like, that's why
Yeah.
I was frustrated the first year, because I was like, man, I'm not in it. Because when I'm seeing other people crump, I feel I feel it. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew what I was supposed to feel. So that's why it was so frustrating. It's like, why don't I feel what I feel when I watch you crump? Like, it's frustrating. And then once I got it, once I learned how to like flip that switch, it was over. So
Yeah.
for me, it's definitely like a flow state.
Yeah. 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 Flow. Thinking when I think of like the flow state, I just think like I'm in the passenger seat. Like I'm in the passenger seat, and this is just all happening right now. It's
Mm-hmm.
all second nature. I ain't got to think about it really. Like I'm thinking, but it's like happening while I'm thinking. Like this is like it's just like it's all happening in unison. Fine oiled machine, just doing what it's supposed to do. You know, um, I don't know the feeling. I think the first time I really felt like that feeling of crump, it just kind of reminded me of like the first time dancing. Like, and it feels weird because I already had such a long history of dance before crump, but it just felt like dancing. It felt like one of those first times performing, and you just killed it. Like you just did your whole routine. You hit every 8 count, hit every fucking formation, everything. You did everything to a T, and you just feel good. Like it just feels like it was supposed to happen that way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, yeah, that's what that feeling of crump. It's like it's supposed to happen that way. Everything that's happening, it's supposed to happen that way. Um, Listen, I don't want to keep you too much. I do want to say thank you again for coming on. You know, uh,
No
I was
problem.
super.
Thank you
I
for
was
having me.
hell yeah, no, I was super excited, and I want to do another one. But I did definitely want to talk to you about a little bit about what you felt like Essence was in Crump, and then definitely hear a little bit about like what you got going on. And this is like our first official time talking, so it was cool. It was cool as hell.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you got a gym that you want to drop for the listeners and viewers and everyone who will hear it before we go ahead and sign out?
Um, just stay buck, y'all.
Sage words, sage words. Well, listen, Roulette, Lady Stryker, BeastCamp, all that. Thank you for coming on the show again. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate it.
No
Uh,
problem, bro. Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah. Listen, I'll shoot you a text right now, but in but yeah, but thank you. Seriously, thank you. Everyone who listens, thank you guys for tuning in. Till
For
next
sure.
time.